Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your editor-in-chief, Troy Smith, here back with another daily rare briefing. Well, we had Speaker McCarthy being pressured and forced, basically, to bring an impeachment inquiry. I mean, I'm not sure why we need an inquiry. We have the House Oversight Committee's investigation. We have all the evidence there, and we have the fact that Joe Biden is senile, so it should be enough. Let's see a clip of that.
Biden used his official office to coordinate with Hunter Biden's business partners about Hunter's role in Burisma, a Ukrainian energy company. Finally, despite these serious allegations, it appears that the president's family has been offered special treatment by Biden's own administration, treatment that not otherwise would have received if they were not related to the president. These are allegations of abuse of power, obstruction, and corruption, and they warrant further investigation by the House of Representatives. That's why today I am directing our House committee to open a formal impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. This logical next step will give our committees the full power to gather all the facts and answers for the American public.
And noted insane person, Democrat New Mexico governor, banned guns in New Mexico, saying that it was a public health crisis. Well, to me, this is a crisis of unconstitutional government. I mean, she has no right to do that. And the minute she announced that, she should have been dragged out of her office and put in a jail cell. This is against the law. This is a tyrant.
Suspending open and concealed carry. I think it's time to talk about the absoluteness of the discussion and the current court actions that suggest that the Second Amendment is an absolute right and none of the others are. No constitutional right, in my view, including my oath, is intended to be absolute.
New Mexico's Democratic governor being called out for her crackdown on the Second Amendment, including by some in her own party and some of the most liberal members of her party. The governor announcing a 30-day ban on concealed carry firearms for self-defense. She claims it is a necessary response to gun violence after declaring it a public health emergency. Gun rights advocates say it puts the community in danger.
And here we have the New Mexico tyrant claiming that the Constitution is not absolute. Well, you know, there's a key point in this, in that all of these elected officials only derive their powers from the Constitution of the United States. So when they undermine it, they're undermining their own authority. And it just shows how pathetic the Democrat Party has become and how radical the mainstream of their party really is.
Yeah.
But
your point is valid.
You took an oath to the Constitution. Isn't it unconstitutional to say you cannot exercise your carry license?
With one exception, and that is if there's an emergency, and I've declared an emergency for a temporary amount of time, I can invoke additional powers. No constitutional right, in my view, including my oath, is intended to be absolute. There are restrictions on free speech. There are restrictions on my freedoms. In this emergency, this 11-year-old and all these parents who have lost all these children, they deserve my attention to have the debate about whether or not in an emergency we can create a safer environment. Because what about their constitutional rights? I took an oath to uphold those too. And if we ignore this growing problem without being bold, I've said to every other New Mexican, your rights are subrogated to theirs. And they are not, in my view.
Wait a minute. You're talking about crimes. There are already laws against the crimes, so how are their rights?
I got it. But again, if I'm unsafe, who's standing up for that right? If this climate is so out of control, somebody should do something. I'm doing as much as I know to do.
Madam Governor, do you really think that criminals are going to hear this message and not carry a gun in Albuquerque on the streets for 30 days?
No. But here's what I do think. It's a pretty resounding message.
But not least, Kamala Harris just couldn't stop cackling at the 9/11 memorial. Biden couldn't be there. He was in Alaska for some reason. But Kamala Harris, you know, if she could just spare us the cackle at the 9/11 memorial. That would be good. Just, could you not do that at the 9/11 memorial? I mean, come on, take a look. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to this briefing. I'm your editor-in-chief, Troy Smith, hoping that you will like and subscribe. And I also wanted to tell you guys that we had former President Donald Trump share our article on his truth feed today. That is such an honor. And we thank President Trump for sharing our content, and we hope that you guys will continue to do the work out there to spread the word. Because in a world of the mainstream media that tells lies and does the bidding of Joe Biden, the Democrats, and the Republican establishment, rare is your voice. I hope you enjoyed, and have a beautiful night.